Hey guys, Matt here. Welcome back. Round 7 review. That's Supercoach done and dusted for round 7. Um, I thought I had a stinker, 2091, but it seems that I've gone okay. Top 3%. I've held around that same mark, which is 119. I was 129 last week, so held that rank, which is really good. 2 or 4 league wins. I'll tell you, if you beat me this week in the leagues, your team is not very good because, I mean, you shouldn't be scoring any more than 21, 2200 without having some absolute questionable players. We'll have a quick look at how the team went, and then we'll bounce into what I think I'm going to do this week. Geez, there's a lot of choice, and it's really going to be dependent on a lot of things. And quick side note, how is the Supercoach just putting a picture of Highmore right in front of you as you log in? Like, as though it can't hit you any harder. They've just thrown his face front and center for the last 3 days. Cheers, Supercoach. Anyway, this is the team. So let's have a look how we went. Quick rundown. Defense is what it is. Tommy Stewart's become the best, or one of the best defenders. Is he the best? I think that's more than Ridley now. So brilliant. I went from ruining him to absolutely loving that I have him now. He's really found his role. He's taken marks. He's getting kicks. Nearly kicked a goal too, actually, against Sydney. So, and I love him. Lloyd, 109. I think this was a miss. What has he gone down? He's gone down 100k. This will probably be the last year I start Lloyd in Supercoach. I think Sydney are changing that guard. They're using a lot more guys on the kick-ins. Rampy, Lloyd is taking some. There's a few guys running through there. So, I mean, I'm never going to get rid of him. He's still doing what he does. But I think info for next year will be probably not start him and grab him, see how he's going. Short's back. Beautiful. He's got his partner in crime is with him as well. Ramadan Hooley is on. So him and Short will be racking up for the next couple of weeks. And hopefully Short's back to his best, because he had been a bit of a miss. He's gone down 40k. He had been pretty average for me, in fairness. And here's where we start to get really sad. Jath, his worst game of the year. The entire Hawks unit were witch's hats. They were horrendous. I don't expect him to do that again, and I'll hold on to him. I do think he could be in the best 6. What have I made out of him? I think I've made 100k out of him. So, look, I'll go in one more week because I've just got worse things to worry about, but keep an eye on Jath. He may not be part of that final 6. His defenders are scoring well, and with other guys back and other guys scoring, you may have to end up letting him go. But this guy's been an absolute beauty the last few weeks. He's made 120 to date. He's dropped an 80, 58, 88. Like I said to you last week, he's a hometown scorer. He averages. I mean, look at it. He got 56 against Geelong. That was his first game. That was his debut. 95, 81, 88. He scores at Adelaide Oval. He loves the ground. And he's putting those together in away games now too. So they play in Adelaide Oval next week in the showdown. I imagine he's going to get a bit of the footy. Outside of that, they play in West Coast the week after, and who knows what could happen there, especially with the COVID stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how we go from there. But what is his break even at the moment? 32. He's making bank, and he's an on-field option for you. Chapman, he's made 100k. He dropped 20k. I knew he hadn't been looking good for a couple of weeks. And he popped his shoulder twice. Shocked if he plays next week. Somehow scrounged together 28 points. It was a pretty disappointing outfit, Fremantle. It's time to get rid of Chapman. I had been relying on him for on-field scores, so he'll be one I get rid of. And shame about his shoulder, poor lad. Hopefully he can come good. He played the rest of the game, but obviously it's hampering him for 28 points. And then I had Mansell, and at 46, I should have taken it. But like I said to you guys, I wanted 40 to 50. I thought Chapman could get 50. I did think Fremantle were actually going to win against West Coast. I thought he'd pop a 50. So in the end, it was the wrong call. I left 20 points on the bench. And I'm done talking about Highmore. Consider this spot just a loophole for when Essendon aren't playing, because I'll come to this guy in a minute too. But you've got 2 loopholes now. And then the mids, we'll quickly run through them. McRae doing McRae things. Steele, I think, I'd almost ask for a recount if I was Steele. Has he only scored 91 in a team that won by 10 goals? I don't know. I'm miffed by this score, frankly, because he usually pops off. So it is what it is. He's been great for me all year. And here he is, Sammy Walsh. Brought him in last week to cover for Dunkley, and what a pig! 130 in a round where nobody scored anything. He's put down 130. Command of that team. They're winning games. If you don't have Sam Walsh, this is your number one target, because he's gone. 600, he will not drop below 600 again this year. He's this year's Lachie Neale. And you'd wonder about him for the Brownlow too. Bont as Bont looked good without Dunkley. The team didn't, but he certainly did. Still looked fine. He's going to get 100 every game, average 114. Oliver is his usual self, racking up. Love it. The Crows, I suppose I talked about how good he was, but Walker and Latham, other 2 Crows, another Witches Hats team on the weekend. They were horrendous. Probably the worst game they've played in years. Laird still managed a 75. He still has that role. Lots of CBAs. And he'll be right. As far as scoring goes, he'll be fine. You keep him in. Worst comes to worst. That's what is that? His lowest score of the year? 75? It would have to be. Yeah, by a fair margin. Don't worry about Laird. He's doing what he's doing. He's getting the CBAs. He just came up against a better midfield, and without Sloane's help and without Crouch there, they're asking a lot of him. Tom Powell, what a boy. This could be your M8. Realistically, if you're skimped on trades, this could be your M8. The kid's gone back-to-back 90s. Had 100 the other week. Probably the rising star this week, if not Luke Jackson. Still miffed that the Crows didn't draft him when they went full South Australian, and this is the best South Australian kid in the draft. So, but that is what it is. Keep him. He'll keep tracking along. He'll get into the 500k territory before we start thinking about trading him. But I've said that before about players, and immediately jinxed them and traded him out the next week. So take that with a grain of salt. Jordan has been great. He's really bounced back. That role is back. Let's not talk about my midfield bench. I'm in dire straits here. Scotty's doing well. McNeil played. Oh, it said did not play. I thought he was the sub and he came on. That might have been the week before. He's been good. You think he comes back. And Brockman absolutely missing in action. There's no reason not to play this kid, though. If you've still got Brockman, don't worry about trading him. Hawthorn are that bad. They could make 18 changes. So he will be back. So don't stress too much if you missed him. Grundy's brother subbed in for him this week, apparently. And his brother has no idea how to play footy. So instead what he did was just sat a kick back and did nothing for the entire game. 63. Thank God that Supercoach absolutely love him. And every time he gets a touch, he somehow adds 20 points to his score. So luckily he got 63. If you captained him this week, you would have been in strife. But luckily Grundy was the easy loop there. Don't worry about Maxi. He'll be back. He every now and then he does this. Don't worry about him. And Flynn didn't play. So you're still in the same situation where if you didn't start these two, you are in strife. And even worse, because most people went Gawn and Flynn and then someone else. So, I mean, the one that's in form is actually the one that's harder to get now. You will struggle to get these two in. and start doing it. And lastly, the forward line. Let's have a quick gaze here. Zeeble, I've spoken about him in many weeks now. He's just a seagull. Just loves the footy. I just can't say enough about him. He's currently, without Dunkley, he is now currently the best forward option. So what'd you get him? He was 200k. So it's not, and I'll say this to you now, it's not too late to get Zeeble because he is the best forward going. So when's his bye? He's got a favourable bye, I think. Round 12 bye, which is quite favourable. He could be a first in over the bye weekends. And I got Marshall, who went 86. He went down a bit, and it was him or Green, and they did about the same, but I'm pretty confident with Marshall. The thing I didn't think about when I grabbed him was his bye is the same as... It's the round 14 bye, the dreaded round 14 bye. So I am worried about that, but he's my guy, and I'm glad I had him. Tex Walker dropped 30k this week. I'm not hugely fussed about this. I probably will trade him, and I'll go into it in a bit as to why. Actually, no, I'll talk about it now. Taylor Walker spent the entire last quarter off the ground. The game was over. He did pull up a little bit sore towards the start of the fourth quarter. I don't know what it was, that calf that's been giving him trouble. Went off. And at that point, Riley Thilthorpe went up the ground. Murray went into the forward line. And Himmelberg played a bit in the ruck too. What that meant was that Thilthorpe got a lot more footy. And Walker just sat off the entire quarter. And in a bubble, I wouldn't be too worried about that. But I've said before, Thilthorpe is not going anywhere. He's playing AFL all season long. And what that shows is that Nix is willing to take players off the ground to get Thilthorpe into the game. And I'm not going to have a bloke worth 464,000 who at any point could be pulled from the game just to get a rookie into the game. So I've loved... It's like I feel like I'm breaking up with him. I've loved what we've had together, Taylor. Thank you for the journey. You've been amazing. I got you in at 300,000. I've made 160,000 out of you. You're a beautiful human. I hope you win the Coleman, but you're cut. In the words of Homer Simpson, you're cut. Impey is Impey. He's good. Don't worry about this score. Warner, what did he go? He went down. There's just more important things to worry about than Warner. And until forward options start to show themselves, you kind of have to just keep playing Warner if you haven't already got rid of him. Because those forwards just aren't appearing. A couple of guys in the comments spoke about Zorko, and I do really like Zorko. I do really like Green. But none of those scores, they're not putting out those scores that make you think, I've got to get him in the team. You know, what did Green do? 90 odd? Warner's 30 short of that. Big deal. Zorko, I think, got 90 odd as well. Or maybe he tonned. Either way, like, you're only missing 30, whereas, you know, there's some stuff up here that I've got to address. Waterman, loophole option. If Saints or usually one of these two are playing on a Sunday, so that's your loophole. I don't know why he's not on the team. He looked good. Rutten endorsed him, dropped him after 3 games. So, not sure what happened there, and I'm quite disappointed about it. And like I said to you, I couldn't loop him, so I was confident with McCreary as the loop that I was putting in there. Very confident to have him in. Rowe managed 36. I don't think his role is Supercoach relevant. Luckily for him, I also don't think he's getting dropped because there's just no one knocking from below. Newchurch is good, but watching him today, he takes a lot of plays off. I just don't see how... I mean, I shouldn't say that because they might find a way, but I don't think there's any suitable options to replace James Rowe with. And he is playing his role. It's just not a Supercoach friendly role. And what's he done? He's made 116. He will go down again because I'm going to have him on the bench. But all it takes is for him to... Small forwards are small forwards. You know, he might steal 3 goals against Port and hit that break even, and then I'll look at him the week after. Whatever. Crow's bye is the dreaded round 14 bye. So maybe he covers you over the bye. And McCreary, I spoke about him already. He's been good. I can't see how Collingwood would be dropping him. And he was and proven right, he was the right choice over Finn McRae. I won't have anyone tell me otherwise now. This was the guy to go instead of Finn McRae early. So we've got to have a real think about what I'm doing for trades this week, and I'm going to and ah about this all week. What I really need to do, like I said, I'm breaking up with Walker. At the end of the day, I got this guy in for money. I loved that he was F1, F2 for quite a period of time. But you can't afford to lose the money you made on him. So I'm gonna sell high, and there goes Walker. And Chapman, who's did his shoulder twice, he's going to go. Now, I've got a few choices here. Who do I bring in? And who do I top a premium up to? And last week I said I wanted Ridley, but having seen his score, he's very clearly affected by concussion. His break-even is now 200. I may wait till after the buys on Ridley. And I could go someone like a Salem. I could go someone like... I've got to remember this is the last defender that I'm picking if I don't get rid of Jath. Because Laird comes back, so I pick one more premium, and then I've got Butts to go, and Jath will be a luxury trade. So I've got to be very careful about who I think about putting in. And it's going to be someone between... It's going to be Mills or Salem, I think. The thing I don't like about Salem is he does not have a friendly buy. Mills has that... He's also got the round 14 buy, so it doesn't matter. I hate that the buy is round 14. That's my only issue with that. But Salem would be my pick. On the other hand, I could move Laird back in, and I could start to look at some mids like a Guthrie, who's looked really nice. You know, he's that M2 on the year for total points. Guthrie, he's on the way up. A favourable round 12 buy. And has looked really good with Dangerfield in and with Dangerfield out. So I've liked him. I could go Mundy. How long are we going to pretend that Mundy doesn't exist? In my book, another week. So just pretend that he doesn't exist. I don't like these guys for Supercoach. I don't know why. Call me biased. Merritt scored very well in the last few weeks. There's so many choices. Brayshaw again looks good. Geez, if Brayshaw has that round 13 buy, he's probably my guy. Round 14 buy. So a lot of thinking there, and I'm not going to make that call today. Honestly, I hate to tell you, it's probably Salem or Guthrie. I'm really going to think about it. But the rookie I'm bringing in is will be none other than Riley Thilthorpe, and I spoke about why. I watched him play a pretty average game on the weekend, and Matty Nix wasn't having a bar of it. He moved him up the ground. He got him involved in the game, and that is, as a Supercoach owner, that's what you want to see. When your bloke's not having a good game, the coach is willing to shuffle his entire team around to get him into the game. So 55 in a game which I would say was very poor, I think is a good pick. As crazy as it sounds. He looks good around the footy. He's got a nice tank on him. I'm really turned around on Riley Thilthorpe. I think he's a great football player, and he's going to be a very good football player. I'm not sure even, as crazy as it sounds for a kid that kicked 5 goals, I'm not even sure that forward's his role. I think he might be a wingman, or even a high half forward. He has a very nice kick. So, he's the rookie I'm going to go for this week. Other choices... They're slim pickings. Do not go early on Riley Collier-Dawkins. He's not coming. Caleb Poulter will go next week. Beautiful. Love him. Love Collingwood rookies. And I'll shuffle around to see some other ones. There's Frederick from Port. Don't like him. Don't want him. As soon as Jones comes back, he's taken that spot. So that's probably what I'm going to do. For the sake of the video, I'll make a pick just so everyone, just so the team looks settled. And we'll say it's Guthrie for the sake of it. That leaves me with 100k. Time to think about some other guys, and then we'll probably go row into that Collingwood kid we just looked at before, Poulter, South Australian boy. So that's probably how the team's going to look. I'll have now still 4 up here, looking to get Ridley in. That'll give me my, what is that now, 7 premiums in the midfield. And that gives me 3 across here. So I do go down by losing Walker, sadly, but I think it's the right call. I've essentially turned Walker into Guthrie. And at the start of the season, if I told you could do that, you'd be absolutely cheering. Let us know in the comments what you think about that, any ideas you may have. I will drop earlier in the week a little piece about rookies and a piece about primos and guys we target. It was quite well received, that video. I'll drop it on a Wednesday. So this is just more of a team update. A little bit longer video for you because it was a big week. A lot happened. But thanks for tuning in. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, share with your friends. I really appreciate everyone watching the video and everyone liking and subscribing. It's been great. So thank you so much. And I will chat to you guys during the week.